Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. My name is Cole Mercer, and if you had told me a year ago that my wife would hand me a printed list of marriage rules, like I was applying for a job, I would have laughed. I used to think she would laugh too. But people change quietly, like slow cracks in a window. One day you look up and realize the whole thing is shattered. I married Evelyn Hart 8 years ago. She was witty, bright, the kind of woman who could light up a room without trying. But somewhere along the way, that light turned into something colder, something that judged instead of warmed. I didn't notice it at first. Maybe I didn't want to. It all started a few months back, when she joined a new women's group, the Ember Circle, a group of friends who described themselves as empowered, awakened, and liberated. Most of them were married, though none of them acted like they particularly enjoyed marriage. They spent their weekends drinking wine and comparing notes on what their husbands did wrong. I wasn't worried at first. Evelyn needed friends. I encouraged it. But the version of her that came home after these gatherings. She was sharper, colder, always keeping score. Every small disagreement became a battle. Every conversation something I had to phrase perfectly, or it would be twisted into proof that I didn't respect her growth. The night it all came crashing down was a Friday. I remember because I'd just gotten home from a long shift, still in my work boots, still dust on my shirt. She texted me earlier that day to come home, ready for a serious talk. Those words alone told me it wouldn't be pleasant. When I walked through the door, I found her sitting at the dining table with 3 of her Ember Circle friends. Maya, Juniper, and Tessa. All 3 looked like they had been waiting for entertainment. Evelyn slid a thick folder across the table toward me. "Sit down, Cole," she said, her tone clipped, as if she was conducting a meeting. I picked up the folder slowly. "What's this?" "New boundaries," she said. "Non-negotiable ones. You'll sign these if you want this marriage to keep going." Her friends exchanged smug glances. One sipped her wine like she was watching a show. I opened the folder. Inside was a a manifesto of rules. Pages of them. Things like, Cole must agree to spend money only after mutual approval. Cole will not raise his voice under any circumstances. Cole will not question Evelyn's social activities. Cole will attend monthly relationship workshops. Cole will apologize immediately if Evelyn feels invalidated. I looked up at her. "You wrote all this?" "We wrote it together," Maya chirped, tapping her glass with a grin. Tessa leaned back, crossing her arms. "It's pretty standard, actually," Juniper added. "It's about holding men accountable." They all laughed softly, like the punchline was me. I stared at the pages again. Rules I never agreed to. Standards she never asked for. And the part that stung wasn't the rules. It was that she needed an audience to humiliate me with them. "So," Evelyn said, folding her hands, "sign them." I studied her face. No remorse, no hesitation. Just expectation. Like she wanted to see whether I would follow the script she had written for me. "If we're going to stay married," she continued, "you'll show commitment to my growth. Otherwise, we're done." Her friends waited, leaning forward a little. They were ready for the show, ready to watch me bend, ready to declare a small victory for their circle of empowerment. I closed the folder. "Okay," I said quietly. Evelyn smirked. "Good. I'm glad you're being reasonable." I reached into my bag, calm as still water. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I simply pulled out another folder, thin, crisp, prepared. I set it gently on the table. "What's that?" Evelyn asked. "Divorce papers," I said. The room went dead silent. Not a breath. Not a sip of wine. Not a smirk left in sight. "Okay," I added, meeting her eyes. "You want a signature? Sign this." No one laughed anymore. Evelyn blinked at the papers as if they were written in another language. Her friends stiffened, each one frozen in a different pose. Maya's wine glass halfway to her lips, Tessa's eyebrows locked in a frown. Juniper holding her breath like she was afraid even air might break the moment. "Cole, what is this?" Evelyn finally asked. "Exactly what it looks like," I said. You came to the table ready to end the marriage if I didn't obey a rulebook written by people who don't even live in this house. I'm just agreeing with you. I'm choosing the done option. Maya scoffed under her breath. This is manipulation. I looked at her calmly. It's paperwork. Juniper leaned forward. You're overreacting. These rules were about emotional safety. Whose? I asked. Because none of them mention mine. Evelyn swallowed hard, her confidence slipping. You didn't even read all of it. I read enough. I tapped the pages gently. You want financial control, behavioral control, emotional control, social control. These aren't boundaries, Ev. They're conditions. And I'm not applying to be your employee. Her jaw tightened. You're twisting it. No, I said softly. I'm seeing it clearly. I had never spoken like that in front of anyone. Not even her. Maybe that's why the room shifted. The power she walked in with was evaporating, drifting up like steam from a pot someone forgot to turn off. Tessa put her glass down. Evelyn, maybe we should step outside. No, Evelyn snapped. No, he can't just throw this at me. I leaned back. Ev, you threw the first folder. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. For the first time that night, she looked unsure, like she was searching for the script she expected me to follow. I kept my voice steady. I kept telling you for months that we were drifting. I told you I felt shut out. I told you you were changing in ways I didn't understand. You didn't want to talk. You wanted compliance. That's not true. It is. And you know it. Every time I tried to talk, you came back from these meetings with more rules, more ultimatums, more ways I needed to prove myself. I exhaled slowly. But marriage isn't a group project with your friends. Tessa looked down at the table. Even she seemed to think that went too far. Evelyn glanced at her friends for backup, but none of them spoke. They suddenly looked very willing to observe from a distance rather than participate. I thought you'd take this seriously, she whispered. I am, I said. Maybe for the first time. A long silence filled the room. One of those heavy ones where everyone can hear their own heartbeat. Finally, Evelyn pushed the divorce papers away. I'm not signing this. I don't want a divorce. That's good, I said. Then we can talk about real boundaries. Healthy ones. Not the ones printed by your committee. Her eyes widened. Committee? So now you're mocking me? No. I'm done being mocked. Maya whispered something to Juniper, but I didn't care anymore. For the first time in months, I felt level, grounded. I wasn't angry, just clear. Evelyn looked down at her hands. I thought giving structure would help us. Rules don't fix distance, I said gently. Conversation does. Respect does. But you didn't ask me for either. You handed me a contract. Her voice cracked a little. I didn't mean to push you away. Maybe not intentionally, but you did. Her friends exchanged awkward glances. Silent, uncomfortable, shrinking in their chairs. The empowered audience had turned into bystanders at a scene they didn't want to be part of anymore. After a long moment, Evelyn reached for the rulebook she had made. The pages rustled as she flipped through them, and her face changed. Her own words stared back at her in bold, unforgiving ink. Did I really write all this? She whispered. You and your circle, I said. But I'm not married to them. I'm married to you. She pressed her palm against her forehead, eyes closing like she finally saw the reflection she'd been avoiding. I've been listening to the wrong voices. Yeah, I said softly. And none of them sleep next to you at night. The house felt different suddenly, quieter, less combative. Even her friends shifted uncomfortably, like they were sitting somewhere they no longer belonged. Evelyn looked up at me, eyes softer than they'd been in months. I don't want to lose you, Cole. I nodded. Then let's start over. Not with rulebooks, with honesty, and with you and me, not an audience. She swallowed. Can we do that? That depends, I said gently. Are you ready to talk to me instead of through people who don't know our marriage? She nodded slowly, a tear slipping down her cheek. I stood, picked up both folders and closed them. One full of rules, one full of endings. Let's put both away, I said quietly, and decide what we actually want when no one else is watching. Her friends gathered their things silently. No clever comments. No empowerment speeches. Just a quiet retreat of people realizing they didn't belong in this moment. The door closed behind them. For the first time in a long time, it felt like Evelyn and I were finally in the same room again. And not as opponents, as two people really trying to find each other again.